It's a great pleasure to introduce Maria Tutu. She's going to share with us for the next hour or so. And I know that she's probably going to be speaking to us about simplicity. It's my guess. But thank you, Maria, for joining us. We're super happy to have you here at the Pranic World Festival. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning from Austria. I am Maria Tutu, as our friend presented me. And yeah, you're right. I'm going to talk about simplicity. That's somehow the, let's say, my underlying obsessiveness of how to transmit things in the most simple way. Even though I'm not working towards, it's constantly working in me, this desire. I would like to take it quite gradually, about to give a frame and a backbone to things that would develop as the talk develops. I have 31 years old. I am a mother of 3 children. I live in Austria. I temporarily live with my partner from time to time because he's from another country. And now it's been 7 years since I have consciously taken contact with the mental concept of what means pranic living, Breatharianism, and the entire field. If I look now backwards through my whole life, I realize that there's maybe not been one moment when I have not been subjected to this process, but being involved in daily living, in being under the guidance of my parents and environment and school, my attention was never brought to this subject. Therefore, I could not be aware that that's what is already happening. So now, after 7 years, I rest in the wisdom that there is absolutely nothing else what's happening except this. A journey of, let's say, trust under the symbol of survival, because you need to survive since a child onwards, and you reach a point where you realize that the things that you've been gifted, are no longer serving you. Something's not okay, to say it simple. And then you start to question, you start to search, and depending on your like hunger towards authenticity, and how much is eroding you and how much is eating you, how curious you are going to go deeper and deeper. That's somehow what I do believe now in, and that's been my process. I think if I could say one thing about this entire experience that might be universal to everybody, is that if it would be a title of a book, it would called My Journey, as in it has to be a point where one can differentiate between the journey that he has been put on and the moment when his journey starts, with his own questions, with his own calculations, with his own experiments. Is not enough. And I think that is the essential here, that this journey cannot be copied. This journey cannot be, after a specific point onwards, not even inspired by somebody else. And one simply lives in, you could call it a daily inner torment of what is mine and what is not mine. And as you go and you advance, you realize that almost nothing is yours. And preparations are for giving you the impression that you're still safe. Adhering to specific practices, be it of any kind, just somehow keeps you occupied, again, to feel safe. In general, in my life, men have made it possible to, men as in the not the woman, the men, they are able to describe much more better what I'm talking about. Simple, more condensed, more compact. So I might just use a lot of words as I'm trying to describe my inner narrative. I think what are my strong points here is the fact that I'm a mother, which gives me a different relationship dynamic that I have to go through in this process. But I can say definitely that when I get lost and I get stressed in this journey, I realize that my kids benefit the most from me having managed energy alignment, that I can do, that I can be aware more of their needs, and that I am not so reactive to living with 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl, who just turned this world upside down. That is one important thing for me, that my children. And I think this was also the point where my journey transgressed from me wanting to become something, me wanting to achieve something, wanting to be, the super Breatharian, and struggling while I wanted to be that. When I realized that I have to do it for my children, and then responsibility came. And then is when it moved into, actually then is when I no longer cared what am I, what I'm not. I just knew that I have to do the correct thing. And as you advance in this, you get more responsibilities. So in front of responsibility, you really have to act with some verticality, because it's just more things are being asked from you. You cannot sleep till 9. You have to wake up at 6. So if you didn't arrange your day good, You're gonna be tired, you're gonna be angry. So, and actually, life, just life, simply life. My partner, my relationship with my father and my family, my relationship with my children, and my relationship with myself. These are the most important things because they give me the frame and they tell me how does my energy, how my energy needs to be. And based on how my energy needs to be and how much I need to serve, then I know what adjustments I need to make in my day by day life from topics, from very simple topics such as food till workout, till the the cycles of my mind's thoughts, till breaks and boosts, how I need to make this mathematical equation work. Um, Romantic relationships are also a very important part for me. um, I've always devoted my I've always devoted my a big part of my energy towards my partner, and that is because the relationship between a man and a woman keeps you in a loop in which you can refine your energy very good, with all its
Sorry, everyone. We're just coming back. Okay. We've reconnected again.
we had like a little.
Yeah, it's
Are we back?
definite. It's on your end, Maria, but it's okay. We pick up. You're online again now. Thank you.
Okay. Just wait to see my headphones. Okay.
If you're on a phone,
Yeah.
if you're
So I was
connecting on a
at
phone, maybe to silence if you're getting any calls or anything like that coming in, it can disrupt the connection if you're on a mobile.
Can we start again?
Yes. Yes, please
So
continue.
my relationship with my partner is extremely important. I would say, and I don't know if this is controversial or not, but it precedes in terms of level, it precedes my relationship with my children because I think it's important that that our children, my children, they see a man and a woman loving and caring one for another and adopting lifestyles that permit this love to exist in a family. That this makes our children feel safe. My relationship with myself is also important because it can serve the other. It can serve the other two relationships with my children and my partner. I live a quite simple life. I have a full-time job. I spend time with my children. I try to work out every day. I do not meditate in that sense I don't sit every day and devote 1 hour for meditation. I more try to do one thing at a time inside and in my mind. That's how meditation, that's how I can understand meditation. I do not do focused contemplation. um, my partner and I have very similar lifestyles, also in terms of consumption. So that's a big bonus. I can say from now that's one of the most beautiful things to be able to share with your partner. Um, Many times we have conversations about pranism and breatharianism, and I'm always like, I don't care. I just wanna cuddle. I just wanna live my day. I don't wanna think about anything. I don't want to think about food. I don't want to think about no food. I wanna go on my day without this thought. That's what's quite representative about me. I don't, and here is where it comes. Maybe something what's essential for us now. Um, you can be in a field and you can pursue the field, but there comes a point when you are out of the field and you are free of that. My partner showed me yesterday a quote, and the quote was, uh, at the beginning, I thought a punch was a punch and the kick was a kick. Later on, I understood that through the art of fighting, I understood that later on through the art of fighting, I understood that a punch is a punch and a kick is a kick. So the same goes for me with being with living a pranic lifestyle. It's simply about my energy management. It's simply about doing the right things, and it's about loving myself and never judging myself for anything what I might do or might not do. And very important is never hurting myself. And that comes in, let's give it an example. Um, when it comes to consumption, to know exactly when and how is much more important than not to. Because it's just about not putting any sort of stress on oneself. And this is connected to doing one thing at a time, paying so deep attention to what you need, that your emotions are not dissonant to your rhythm and your needs in that moment. It's not about achieving, it's not about arriving somewhere, it's being in tune with yourself every single moment. And when you're not, that's okay. Um, there are things that are changing. For example, when I go in my dry days, uh, but that's not a behavior of mine that I can present in front of my children nor in front of my partner, because it just doesn't at this moment in my life, they just do not fit. When I'm in my dry days, I kind of just move away naturally from uh, a specific thought pattern or thought processes, and I'm much more in a space where I'm very silent, and my energy is also very smooth and slow, so it doesn't resonate with the dynamism that I have to present in next to my children and the constancy of things that I have to do, as well as it doesn't resonate with my responsibility as a wife. um, let's say I'm more in a hermit mode. And that's why I think it's important to also have those days. In my case, where I'm involved in a social reality with my family and my partners and my kids, to have those days just for myself when they happen, just to just to tap into that space of myself. Um, but I think at me, it's more like a circus. Whatever show is today is going to happen. Um, yeah, and I know as I advance in life that I'm gonna have more time just for myself, just for my partner. So we're gonna experience a different um, we're gonna experience a different life. But now my life is this, so I have to honor it in in the best of my capacity. There are other stuff that are important to share. Yes, there are other things. I won't be extremely blunt because I don't know if this is the space, but I can say as a woman, and this is mostly regarded to women, includes men as well. Um, the relationship that a woman might have with her partner, in case this is the choice that she wants, um, it complements very well a pranic lifestyle. Um, Also in terms of consumption, the intimacy that can come from uh, a vulnerable relationship. Uh, First of all, one can already see that it satisfies a lot of the social media scrolling, a lot of the searches outside, and then it satisfies even more in terms of desires for sweets, desires for um, food, desires for just to fill up your time. Um, that's something that I have realized, and one can go further on, and the sexual relationship as well is extremely important. It just covers a lot of the connection and a lot of the still being and spontaneous reality that we might be searching through changes and hormonal changes, and that's something that I didn't always had it, but I think in the case in which somebody is choosing partnership and not um, celibacy, that's somewhere where one can look deeply, and with devotion they can learn a lot about themselves and about how we interchange what's naturally organic how we end up to substitute with a lot of things from outside. Most of the things can be nurtured and nourished from very simple acts in life, partnership, familyhood, friendship, and a slow down life. I think at the moment, I feel at the moment that my story has ended. And if there are any other questions, let me actually, I would
Great.
need, in general, guidance to navigate.
Thank you, Maria. Do we have any questions from our live audience here? Questions? Okay. I know that it's been a recurring question online and from folks listening to other presenters as well about integration of this lifestyle while you have children. So, can you speak a little bit more about how you integrate this lifestyle as with the role of being a mother? And I know you said you don't speak to them about your dry days, but do you speak to them or let them know about how you're living as on your pranic path?
Okay. In generally, I don't speak with anybody about anything. Even with my partner, I many times say like, why would I need to say something which is as intimate as going to the toilet? Nobody, we don't talk about that. Even if it's a little bit more special, even if it appears more special because of the opposite perception that has been created. But my children, I can tell you that my children they see me, and they have understood that this reality is okay, that this reality also exists. Like when they when they set up the table, they only set up for themselves 3 plates, and if my partner is eating 4 plates. Was a time when they were still asking me, hey mommy, are you gonna eat with us? And sometimes I was saying yes, sometimes I was saying no. So that's what they know. And I think how they do benefit from this is that if they show tendencies that, for example, my baby girl, she's 2 years and a half, and so there are days when she eats just bananas, 2 bananas per day. She's not drinking milk anymore. It's like if she wants to wake up in the night and munch on a banana, I just wake up and I give her a banana. So I don't get scared if she doesn't has 3 meals per day, and she's not meeting her nutritional prospects or however. I just let her. If she doesn't want to eat, she doesn't want to eat. I don't get scared. Therefore, they also, they integrate in their behavior that, okay, if I don't eat half a day, it's okay. So let's say I don't want to repattern this behavior in them, but I am aware of their needs. I'm also aware that they are growing. I'm also aware that they live in a society where they are exposed to things, and they might develop different neuronal connections which are about food. And for sure, what is most important for me is that to make them understand that in life these things are an experience and not conditioning perspective upon your survival. So I never make them feel or believe that they have to eat to survive. Rather, I make them feel, because that is also at me, and this is, we have a biological machine, our body, we can sense things, we have sensations, and this is something more related to our inner child that likes to live through sensations, not through needs. So sensations and experiences. So they see this in me. I also think that they adopt it.
Beautiful.
Rather, maybe this is the point where sometimes I interfere and I try to correct when I see this energy of like this. Then I'm always like, slow down, let's do one thing at a time. Let's not do this and think about that. Let's just slow down and enjoy. And yeah, I think that is how my children know my lifestyle. So when it comes to nutrition and when it comes to anything else, again, they are just witnessing how I am, what I do. Yeah, and of course, my thing is, so I'm a lot after optimizing things, having a social and the inner and the outer conduit. I'm more old style. So for me, it's very important. Like if there's something to work upon, it's at the root of things. It's like you need to reorganize your mind and you need to reorganize your priorities in order to act in the benefit of a wholesome and a well-being, and a yeah, wholesome and your well-being. Maybe here is where I insist more, and here is also where I'm working on myself. And that's, from my perspective, something much more important and has more gravity in my pranic lifestyle. It also involves my kids.
Thank you, Maria. I know that you're voicing things in a way that is really bringing it back down again to this theme of directness and simplicity. So thank you. I really am comprehending your approach in general in life. I have another question from someone who's joining us online. They would like to know a bit more details of your process of becoming pranic, maybe when it began or how this journey has looked. Has there been a progression?
Right. So there is actually a part which happened before the actual entering in contact with any idea about this, and that was when I started to feel things are not okay. It was very simple. It happened as a child. Simply things were not okay. I couldn't explain exactly what was not okay, but it was like an avalanche, and it was like an overwhelming sensation that, nah, that cannot be. Um, and I tried here and there what I could to to modify this result. Um, I tried exercising as a child. Um, then I said, okay, wow, there's something such as a religious fasting, like where you don't consume meat or where you don't consume. I said, okay, let's do that. I did I think, I don't know, I think it was the Easter one, the 40-day one. It was not something substantial, but for me at that time, when you see it in the developmental phase, how I was before, not knowing anything and just taking something out, that had an effect. That finished with 24 hours of what we call in Romania a black fasting, which means no water, no food. I don't remember how it was, if I struggled or not, but I just present things that I have tried. I have went, of course, through the nutritional uh, classes, when vegan, vegetarian, raw, again, I don't know what, again, I don't know what. So just trying to, okay. So let's say everything that I felt was constricting me, I tried to break free of. I tried to break free of it. Be it university, be it anything, anything. Then actually had an encounter with a friend. It was at a party, and I remember recently about that. And it was the after morning of the party, and I went in the kitchen to make a salad. And it took me 3 hours to make that salad because he talked with me about this pranic thing, and I had no idea what he talks about. And I do remember that just everything became more glowing when I listened to him. Everything was just a little bit more light, a little bit more beautiful. My mind was no longer, my mind had freedom. It could just roam around and feel happy, and everything, like, things changed as the space of my mind was enlarged. And I do remember he said to me one thing. He said to me, when he goes so high, it's difficult for him to come back. Okay? I had no idea what he talked about. But little did I know, I understood a lot of what he meant. And then I gave birth to my son years after, years. I gave birth to my first son, Amin. And a friend of mine sent me a video of Victor Truviano. And that was the moment when it clicked. That was the moment when it was like I just understood. It's useless to try to explain what I understood. It just clicked. I'm just going to keep it simple. And I do remember one morning I woke up. The thing with Victor is that throughout my experience, he was there with me he was there with me. I don't know, I'm sure he has no idea about that. I'm sure this is something happening at a much more subtle level. Um, but his way of being guided me. I think his way of being just took a very important place in myself, and I decided to act through that. The same like there is the mother and the father in you, and you act in life somehow through them. The same Victor Truviano, I may be permitted, or it was already arranged, took kind of the same authority in me. And I do remember I woke up one day and I felt full. It was done. I felt it's okay. The way I am now needs absolutely no modification, needs nothing to put in, to put out.
And these were my first 9 days where I just consumed. It there was rice milk. So it was a concentrated rice milk. So I consumed this amount of rice milk mixed with water. And I had to take care of my son, take him to kindergarten every day. It was extremely hot in the city. Yeah, and I was just happy. That was when I felt I'm happy. And I think, as I said in the past, that process was stopped by my partner at that time. He was in a big dissonance with his own process, and he believed that that doesn't belong in a family. Therefore, I was put in the situation to choose between my family and this, and of course I said my family. Yeah, but it never left. And I think the big process that happened throughout the years was learning how to be me while managing to exist um, without being a stranger for the others. Like, I want my life to make me a friend to the others. I want people to never feel uncomfortable around me, regardless of my lifestyle or not. It's not about my lifestyle, it's not about my pranic journey, it's about my relationship with people, because through that we achieve this intimacy that stops all the needs. I'm gonna try to condense the last let's say the processes. 7 years, I have to remember. There's been many 21 days on water, many months. They have been self-directed, most of them. I've never done a process with anybody. For many years, I had to accept that, okay, one morning I wake up and that's what I need to do. And then it just moves from one day to the other. There has been some crucial moments. My first 3 days of dry were where I think that the inner need for the inner thirst, or the concept of thirst, has been decomposed. It's just been a big deconstruction. Let's say, and it just continues to be a lifelong deconstruction process about sometimes for some parts of my life, be it, can be 1 month, 5 months, I might need to position myself in specific perceptions, just to be able to decompose them. So that somehow is the journey. You need to be graceful with your beliefs, because they will decompose, but they will only decompose if you feel safe that you are also accepted while you hold the false belief upon yourself. So this is the process, and this is a process that will never end. And I'm very curious to see what's happening after, let's say, after I no longer have this form, how this process goes further on. But I think for as long as I'm going to be alive, I'm going to have this process of deconstruction.
Thank you, Maria, for these beautiful answers to the questions. We hear that you're really going in a process of grace and simplicity and dissolution of the things that were no longer aligned for you. Do we have any other questions from our live audience here? Any questions? Yes.
Hello, Maria. Thank you very
Hi.
much for your sharing. I would like to know, how can I learn to love myself? Thank you.
In all my honesty, I think I don't know. Um, but there are some things that I do know. Like, imagine that, I don't know, whatever happens, whatever experience happens, or wherever your life has been, you know, um, everybody will have an opinion about that. But but you are the only one that has lived that. So I find it meaningless to, already the opinion is somehow a violent act. I find it useless that we ourselves have an opinion about what we have done. So let me give an example, which I think many are struggling with this. Let's talk about, for example, this cycle of, let's take the example of somebody eating, somebody wanting to be on the path, but occasionally going into some places that are not under their awareness, and they consume things that they should not. And this is a cycle of victimhood and blaming and creating tension just to break free out of tension. That actually, I think, is happening because we don't let ourselves go through experiences without giving them a meaning of this is good or this is bad. I think the most important is you are the only one that should not hold an opinion against yourself. Listen. I don't know how to love oneself. I don't know. I think you can just show it to yourself. I also think you cannot know it in advance. I think somehow that's maybe the most important thing. You cannot, nothing what is real, I think, can be known in advance. And once you will do it, you will know these questions as well as these answers. They are not answers to search for them, but they are not answers that you find them by searching them. You're going to be put in a situation where you're going to have to react in that moment, and you're going to understand if that's okay, if this is a reaction or a behavior that is making me love myself more or less. And what I can clearly say is that once we love ourselves a little bit more, there are changes happening in our surroundings. This is something that creates a new change. While the other behaviors is just a pattern, it generally doesn't create any type of change. it's so well known, so predictable. I think that's how you recognize when you love yourself, that the action coming after you have done the motion of loving yourself brings something new in your. It can be in the way you perceive things, in the way you see things, in the way people treat you, in the way your life brings you different experiences.
Thank you so much, Maria. We're just about at the hour, unless we have any other burning questions from our audience here. There's one more question. Let's just go to one more.
Hello, Maria. I'm Federico. I want to ask you one question about the relationship, especially for your children. How do they experience the differences between the family lifestyle and the environment of the school, especially in their case? Thank you.
So was the question, how do they experience the family lifestyle, and like in opposed to what?
Can I try to rephrase it?
Mm-hmm.
I think the question is, do your children experience anything between the difference of how you're living and how they witness others living in the world around them? Do they have any experience around that difference?
I don't know, because they don't talk with me about this. If I am just to see what they say or how they behave, I would actually say that I think the world is more permissive. Like the world, like they can go here, they can do that, it's a little bit more permissive. It's more about enjoying. And at me, and that's my personality, at me is a little bit more strict. I think that is how they, but more strict in terms of energy integrity. Yeah, and developing some developing virtues, developing some like proper guidelines. Yeah, I think that is how they. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maria, for this beautiful talk. I know that I'm really feeling you walking this path with a lot of grace and seeking to do clarity and simplicity. And you are a living example for us who have questions around, is this lifestyle possible for anyone in a normal family situation? We don't have to retreat from society, go into the mountains and do this lifestyle, but actually we can do it in a very simple and clear way with grace in a family situation. So thank you so much, Maria, for your sharing. We've all benefited from this very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you as well.
Do you have any last? Do you have any? Thank you. Do you have any last words to say, or if people want to contact you, if you share your contact, you can do that now or not, as you like.
No. I would be happy if somehow we meet at the moment with, at another festival or in life. Yeah. But no, I have no contacts to share. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much, Maria.
Well, have a beautiful day.